Have you ever noticed how people make assumptions about how retirees spend their time? Hi, I'm Monica Premo with Encore Life Coaching. In today's video, we're going to talk about 5 common assumptions that people make about how retirees spend their time and what matters, why this might be problematic for you, and strategies that you can use to overcome these assumptions and live life and live retirement on your terms. The first assumption is that you have unlimited free time. And while that may be true, that doesn't mean that your free time is their free time and that you are available to do whatever is important to them instead of doing what's important to you. The second assumption, and this is tied in with the unlimited free time assumption, is that you're available to help at the drop of a hat, whether somebody needs you to run an errand or go to a doctor appointment or watch their dog or whatever it may be. Again, because you may have the freedom and flexibility in your schedule, doesn't mean that that's necessarily the way that you want to spend your time. The third assumption is that you want to spend a lot of time with your family. And while that may be true, and it may be true to some extent, the amount of time and the quality of time that you spend with your family is up to you. And that's for you to decide and not for other people to decide for you. The fourth assumption is that you're lonely without your work relationships. Well, that also may be true. Depends how connected you were with people at work and what kind of relationships and needs those interactions filled. It's also a time for you to maybe expand into new relationships, reconnect with old relationships, or see whatever life brings you. Again, this is about really knowing what's important to you. The fifth assumption is that you've slowed down on your goals and ambitions. I don't know about you, but that is absolutely not the case for me. I am in my go-go years, and my goal is to maximize this time and meet new goals, strive for new things, and do things in my life that I wasn't able to do before. For instance, right now, I'm taking advantage of a work vacation with my husband. He's in a conference, I'm working remotely, and I'm also reconnecting with some of the friends and family that we have here in Texas. Again, this is about you deciding how you want to spend your time. So why is it problematic if we let these assumptions kind of dictate how we spend our time? Well, one reason is that it can lead to overcommitment. It can lead to resentment and frustration. And to me, that's one of the big things. When you aren't clear about what you want, instead of living your own needs and priorities, you're living other people's priorities. And when the resentment builds up, instead of strengthening relationships, it can ruin relationships. Also, I guess it addresses, your loss of personal time. And again, because this time is available, it doesn't mean that it's available for other people and for you to do whatever they need. You've done that. Now it's time for you to figure out how you want to spend your time and protect your time to do the things that are important to you. And when other people's priorities overshadow your own priorities, whose life are you living? You have worked too long and too hard to let this opportunity go to live the life that you want to lead. And the last reason why it's problematic is it can be really hard to undo obligations once you've kind of assumed them. If you've become the caregiver, or if you've become the go-to person when somebody needs an errand or a babysitter. If you don't set these boundaries up front, it's really hard to kind of renegotiate that. Not that it can't be done, but it's a lot harder than setting the precedent on the front end when you retire. So what are the strategies that you can use to overcome these assumptions? The first one is to be absolutely true to yourself. Who are you now? What are your values? And what matters most? If you aren't connected with yourself and what matters most to you, it's going to be a lot easier for other people's priorities to overshadow yours. The second thing is to set your own new goals, know your priorities, and set boundaries, protecting the time to do the things that are important to you. This might involve a little negotiation, but at the minimum, it's about being honest with yourself. It's about being honest with how you want to spend your time and the commitments that you're making. And it's about being honest with the people in your life that you care about, and maybe finding a happy medium between their expectations, your expectations and your needs, and where you can come together. The third thing is to be really clear about how you want to spend your time and who you want to spend it with. This goes back to your own goals, values, and priorities. But knowing what's important to you will also help you understand what kind of relationships you want to be in. Do you want to strengthen relationships with your family? Is there a caregiver role that's part of your world? Do you want to make new friends and try a new activity and form new connections? Are you passionate about volunteering for something and you want to connect with people in your volunteer realm? Whatever it is, when you are clear with yourself on how you want to spend your time, what matters most, and who you want to spend time with, that will help you set those boundaries, set those priorities, and make sure that you're spending your time in a way that's meaningful and fulfilling to you. At the end of the day, you've worked really hard to earn this freedom and flexibility. Now it is your time to spend this time the way you want. So let go of the guilt, let go of the obligation, and start with you and what you would really want. Then you can see where there's room for the other people in your life and how that works together. So here's one action I want you to take today. Pick one thing that you want to do in your retirement and think about what that means as far as how you spend your time, who you spend your time with, and what boundaries you might need to set to protect that time for yourself. Retirement is a fabulous opportunity to take advantage of these go-go years, to do the things that you've always wanted to do and live a life that's meaningful and fulfilling. If you're not quite sure what this means for you and how to get started, take my free retirement personality quiz. Go to myencorecoach.com/quiz to take the assessment, and you'll receive a list of exercises and things you can get started on today based on your retirement personality to help you start living the life that you want to live. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you like what you heard, be sure to hit the subscribe button below so you don't miss an episode. And remember, life is full of twists and turns, and it is up to you to embrace the adventure of life and make the most of every day.